Before the break, you and I kind of did a shameless little tease about using a new product you have called Humi-Till as a way to break down residue out there. And I talked about the fact that I love no-till farming. It's a great way to save moisture, conserve moisture, and maintain those nutrients in the ground so they don't wash away and all that sort of thing. But tell us about Humi-Till and how that can really help.
Well, we launched Humi-Till again on your show. I think it was last spring that we initiated it. And we had a lot of farmers use it last fall with great success. And remember, this is tremendously built just to break down all types of residue. So it has a microbial component added in with our activated humic product that decomposes cellulose, decomposes keratin, as well as lignin that's in that high stacked hybrid. And it really doesn't matter if you're no-tilling or if you're conventional tilling. We've seen farmers across the country where you go out even in a conventional field and there still is stalks that he's had for 4 or 5 years. They just have not broken down.
Right.
And so what we did was look at the whole component of is it a big help to the farmer to decompose those corn stalks and release those nutrients to feed the next year's crop, which actually could save him on some of his fertility components if he calculates it and gets the residue to release those nutrients and feed that crop. You know, we have pictures on the screen here side by sides where we actually treated it with the Humi-Till versus a non-treatment, and you see immediately how it's already broken down that pith inside the corn stalk. It's changing color, it's decomposing. And the biggest thing that we heard from farmers, which we actually thought would happen, is even though you see these stalks on the screen, the farmer may go out next spring and still see those stalks standing in his field. Well, he immediately might say, well, I don't think that Humi-Till product worked, till he puts his equipment in the field. And the second he does and runs the equipment through there, those stalks just explode and shatter, fall all to pieces into many, many pieces all over the soil. Then that's released to feed that crop he just now planted into. And this is where we're hearing tremendous feedback from our growers and from farmers that says, hey, that Humi-Till really did release my nutrients. I got a more even stand of corn or soybeans or whatever he planted in there. And I had a greater emergence, right down the row, faster, quicker, all of these components, because you released natural food that's already in that corn stalk. It's been converted into plant food. You're just breaking that down and releasing it back to the plant. And the plant immediately can take it up. It doesn't have to do any conversion.
Well, and fertilizer is not cheap at all. Who wants to waste that money?
That's right, exactly.
And I was fascinated to hear you talking about that, because as a no-till farmer myself, there was not much more frustrating than having the stalks bridge up where the coulters couldn't cut through them, and then you had to stop and you had a big wad of trash out in the field.
Absolutely. Plus the tire situation, puncturing tires, poking holes in them.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I just about chewed big tires in half on the combine and the tractor just because the stalks were so tough.
That's right, that's right.
That's an excellent point. Well, Dr. Heiniger, what's your experience? What is it about farmers that should cause them to worry about their residue management on the field?
Well, I think it's critical, as Joe mentioned earlier. We did a nice study at NC State here, it's been almost 10 years ago, where we actually tracked nutrient release from corn residue into a wheat crop. And we found out that most of the nutrient in the corn stalk residue didn't get released until way late in the following spring, too late for the wheat crop to take advantage of those nitrogen, potassium elements in that tissue. So Humi-Till has a tremendous opportunity here to release those nutrients when that wheat crop really needs, right off the bat there, so that they can be taken up. I've got a study, of course, this was one of the first years we've had an opportunity to really work with this product. So we put it on some wheat there, and in this slide here, we show some of the results, and we just got back. I need some hot off the press for this. We just harvested this crop last June. So there's no nitrogen. Of course, we expect the yield to be, there's 30% UAN and 120 pounds of actual nitrogen per acre. And then we got the Humi-Till product applied to the residue, and then with that 30% UAN. And you can see there we had 10 bushel yield. The beauty of that, having that product where you've got the humic acids along with the bacteria, is as those nutrients are released, that humic acid can continue to work with, as we spoke earlier, as a bridge, capturing those nutrients and helping facilitate their movement into that plant. So it's not like you're leaching those nutrients or losing those as that residue breaks down. So I think this combination of a bacterial product that helps in decomposition along with the humic acid is a real stroke of genius.
Well, and with the modern yields that we're seeing and the modern hybrids, they can really crank up the populations. That means more plants per acre out there and more trash.
That's
Right?
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you're able to actually put dollars and cents to the use of Humi-Till on farm operations out there. Tell us about that.
We did that. We actually did some trials with a company in Texas where they actually measured the decomposition of all kinds of things like wheat stubble, corn stubble, hay stubble, you name any kind of a stubble. I think there was some cotton or whatever in there. And so they came up showing us that we had something like an 84% breakdown when we added the microbial package with the activated humic. And so we turned around and took that based on a 200 bushel corn crop yield, is just, let's say that's an average. And we use today's current fertilizer prices, because if fertilizer goes up, then it's going to be worth more. If it comes down, it's not worth as much. But we came out with something like a $64 return, and if you figure that on a 200 bushel basis, it's like $80 worth of nutrients out there in that field that the farmer can actually get a benefit from, especially if he puts it on post-harvest. And we talked about this earlier this afternoon. Yes, the best time to do that is post-harvest, right after he's taken the corn off. And we know that farmers are short of time a lot of times. So if they get it on, they're going to be dollars ahead. But let's just say they didn't get it on last fall and even put it on in the spring. The same thing's going to happen even while the crop's growing. But they won't initially get that quick benefit unless they put it on several weeks prior to planting, of that stalk decomposing so it shatters and falls apart even at planting. But they could even do it at planting with their burn down or their chemical application. And even if the farmer has conventional tillage, it's going to still make that nutrient release that's tied up in that corn stalk. So it's a win-win for everybody here when you put on a product like this that breaks down residue and releases nutrients. The farmer can actually sit there and go, well, you know, I am going to get X dollars benefit from that corn stubble that's out there that I can use as credit against next year's crop that I'm planting. And we know that farmers are looking for every avenue they can to maximize their input costs and return on investments. And this is where we feel like we've developed some really good products to provide them answers to do that.
And, you know, we were all kind of talking before the show here about the fact that it's almost like compound interest, isn't it? If you add this product every year and keep doing it, it like exponentially builds up your soil profile from breaking down that material, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, when you think about building soils, you're thinking about building both your organic matter component as well as this energy humic acid component. So as these humic acids work, they basically then help increase each other. You know, they're breaking down residue. They're activating the nutrients in the plant, so the plant grows more. So now more residue to break down next year. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle that helps build this soil over time. When we do this.
Well, and being a past irrigator myself, you know, you grow up in the plains and you have to irrigate, or you know, your corn yields aren't that great a lot of times, especially if you get a really dry year out there. But in a case like this, if you apply that Humi-Till and break down that residue and build up that soil profile and help the tilth of the soil, it's a lot more advantageous, I guess. When you do get rainfall, it soaks in better, you maintain that moisture, and it'll actually save on your irrigation bill too.
Yeah, and remember, add this component that Dr. Heiniger was talking about earlier, where you have a high energy humic, and you've added it to a microbial package, and that microbial package really just explodes once you've put it out in the soil because of this energy component of humic. So you got the best of both worlds going on here. You're digesting your stalks and you're complementing your soils at the same time.
You have any thoughts on breakdown?
You know, Breakdown is the same product that we just registered for Grow Mark in their territory. So that is a registered trademark for Grow Mark the Grow Mark and the FS locations throughout Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, I think even over in Indiana. And they're seeing really the same results. We give that product to several of their different field sales guys, and they saw the identical breakdown of corn stalks, that it broke up that lignin and then that cellulose, and they're seeing the very same thing. In fact, the farmers from their territory are reporting the very same thing. Hey, it shatters when I go through it with the planter. It helped with my tractor tires. I mean, you name it, and it's added this extra component. You know, and I know we're in the Corn Belt. Iowa and Illinois is rich in farmland, but you know, they're still wanting higher yields and they're wanting better return on their investment. Well, this is still a component that you can use even in a high production soil like the Iowa and Illinois component that may add one more component to the farmer to maximize his yield return.
Well, and again, I do want to pass along our phone number for our viewers and our listeners out there that may be tuning in. If you want more information, it's easy to get it. We have operators standing by and analysts that can help you with your questions that you might have about these products. You can call us toll free. Here's that number if you want to write it down. Again, 800-978-6342. Give us a call. It's toll free, and they are standing by to answer your questions right now. Or just go to montysplantfood.com. Well, it's great information for all of our growers, Joe. We sure appreciate that. And we've certainly heard some great information throughout the program tonight. When we return from the break, we're going to be talking more about the products with Dr. Ron Heiniger and the fine folks from Monty's. And remember, again, that phone line, you can call us at that number. And here's another line, 877-731-6733. We'll be right back.